Alas Cancorla, I believe that sexual abuse is the most heinous of all crimes, especially when the victims are children. It stays with them forever, trust is betrayed, lives forever destroyed and families broken. So on behalf of the state, I want to apologise to people who were sexually abused when they were children in our day schools before 1992, and for the state's delay thereafter in acknowledging that it had a responsibility to protect them. As Judge Earl O'Neill has reported, had a system to report abuse, and I quote, been in place in the years before 1992, when all of the historic child sex abuse occurred in national schools, the prevailing culture of impunity which permitted these crimes to occur could not have existed or survived. And I want to thank Judge O'Neill for the 2 years of work that he has done since his appointment by Minister Bruton. Procedures should have been in place before 1992 to record and act on allegations of sexual abuse by teachers and staff. They were not, and governments prior to 1992 failed in their responsibility to do so. Since then, successive governments, including this one, have not put right this historic wrong, and so have perpetuated it. And we will seek to right that wrong now. The intentions may have been honourable, to provide for abuse survivors while protecting the taxpayer, who ultimately has to pay the bill for things that they weren't responsible for. But it was wrong to make the terms of the ex gratia scheme so restrictive. So the state will now make payments to the 13 people whose appeals have been successful without undue delay. And it is clear that there are other cases where survivors did not appeal or survivors did not apply in the first place, and these will have to be re-examined. This may involve reopening the scheme, and I've asked Minister McHugh to prepare options for government in consultation with the Attorney-General. I join Minister McHugh in calling on patron bodies to make any available information they have and documents available too, and the same of course applies to the Department of Education. I want to recognise the campaigning and advocacy role of Louise O'Keeffe on her own behalf and on behalf of others. Even today, many victims of sexual abuse do not report it, but the fact that people like Louise do gives them hope and courage and some comfort. Without meaningful action, apologies on their own don't count for very much, and the best apology that we can make to Louise O'Keeffe and to all other survivors is to say that further action will now be taken. The state failed them at the time, failed them again a second time when it did not own up to its responsibility, and we won't fail them a third time. The Minister of Education will make a further statement on this tomorrow afternoon.